All right, welcome back to Fright Night Flicks. I'm Dan. This is Darren. We're your go-to horror movie podcast.
I like to think we are. Hi, guys.
Hey, and today we're going over probably the most disturbing horror movie I've ever watched.
That's a lie.
Is it though?
You think this is more disturbing than Terrifier?
Wow, my brain got fried.
Did you think we were watching Terrifier?
I forgot what movie we were doing. Because we just put out Terrifier on YouTube.
We're watching Nightmare on Elm Street. The classic horror movie with Mr. Freddy Krueger, I believe they call him in the streets.
I think Frederick is what he goes by officially. Yeah. Dude, that's so funny. It's because I was working on the title for that video.
I'm like, what are you talking? I was like, yeah, it's kind of disturbing, but it's nothing compared to the one we just watched.
I don't even think it's that disturbing.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's fun, dude. Honestly, the thing I like about Nightmare on Elm Street, it's a fun slasher.
It is. It's well, I don't want to get too far into it, but it's another like stalking guy. There's this, I call him stalking men.
Well, yeah,
Stockman.
Yeah, he doesn't want to just kill you. He wants to, strike some fear into your soul first and just play around. He's a playful guy.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't even know if I really watched this full movie before.
Oh, dude. Well, dude, but we have. It's just been so long. I mean, do you know what year this came out in?
I do.
Okay.
Would you like to know? It's 1984.
Let's just get into whatever stuff you got going here.
So if you guys haven't watched the podcast before, we just give a brief synopsis, initial impressions. Then, I mean, I'm not even going to say spoiler alert. This came out in 1984. Like, we'll get into a full breakdown of the entire movie, go over the fun scenes, the absurd scenes, all the good stuff, right?
Right.
Finish up with our final impression. Then at the very end, we go over like continuity errors, like fun stuff you missed throughout the movie.
Yeah, just more information.
Yeah, maybe some like camera guys in certain scenes that, stuff like that. If you guys like this podcast, want to help support the show, we have a couple options for you. One, you guys could join our Patreon. You not only will get access to bonus episodes only our special members get, you will also get early access to the pods, ad-free, Discord access, and more. You can just talk to us on there, too.
And we do a new episode every month. So every month, we do a Patreon-only episode. We've done Candyman so far. We've done not Trick or Treat. What was our other one?
Pooh, Blood, and Honey.
Pooh, Blood, and Honey. And the next one, Terrifier 2.
Terrifier 2 is going on there. So if that's something you'd like, check out the Patreon. We'd love to have you. We'll shout you out, do all that stuff on here. If you don't have the cash, but you still want to help support the show, the one thing that like legit you can do that we would greatly appreciate, go on Apple and leave us a review, and Spotify. If you just click the 5 stars, that's awesome. It helps the podcast grow on that platform. So very much appreciated. And if you really want, I don't know, us to talk or read something you want to write, does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, we can
read what you write. Leave a review on Apple. We'll read it on here.
Absolutely.
So anyways, and we just special shout out to Crazy Meg and Nature's Cruelest Mistake. They're our 2 patrons, and we love them.
Yes, thank you for the support.
Yes. All right, let's get in.
Oh, wait.
What?
I don't want to look at I'm not looking at the tomato meter.
You don't want to see the tomato meter. Okay.
I didn't see it.
Okay. So I'm going to read the brief synopsis on dude, I always want to call this Friday the 13th.
Dude, I can't stop calling it Friday the 13th.
It's really hard.
I'm with you. It is.
Every time I search for it or something on Google, like I always type in Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it's Nightmare on Elm Street, not Friday the 13th.
Yes. So teenager Nancy Thompson must uncover the dark truth concealed by her parents after she and her friends become targets of the spirit serial killer. With a
what is this voice?
I don't know. With a bladed glove in their dreams, in which if they die, it kills them in real life. Oh, kind of abrupt there.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. So this is directed by Wes Craven. You ever heard of him?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying not to look.
Writer Wes Craven. Stars Heather Langenkamp, Robert Englund. And I mean, Johnny Depp's in this.
Dude, I forgot he was even in this.
I had no idea. I forget like some of these stars that were in like horror movies.
Didn't I tell you this? Like I was watching it. I'm like, dude, I can't remember if I told you or my wife. I was watching. I'm like, I recognize who is this kid in there? And then it took me a second. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's freaking Johnny Depp.
I know. Yeah, even watching, I don't really see him as Johnny Depp. He's so young.
Dude, so young. I wonder how old they were.
Like,
the kids actually look young in this one.
They do. They do look young. I would maybe 18,
I don't
19? No, they have to be like 21 or something.
But
They
they
just
look-
look young.
yeah.
I think we're just getting old. So what were your impressions of Friday the 13th, being that it's, I don't know, forever old?
Okay,
I mean, how old are we? We're like 39. So this is like 40 years old.
dude, that's crazy. Here's what I'll say. I think Freddy Krueger is the best slasher killer. How would you word that?
I mean, slasher, he does slash.
He's one of my favorite horror movie villains. I'll say this. I think Freddy is one of the best horror movie villains.
Really?
Yeah, because I think he's fun. I like when he's like messing around with these victims. They're running around from him. He like chops his finger off at one point. He's like changing the environment and he's just kind of having a great time.
He's definitely unique. Like he takes them into another world.
Well, here's not controversial. Here's the thing. I don't even know where we are half the time. What's dream? What's not dream?
Well, I think this is like Inception. Sometimes your dreams within dreams.
This is the
Within
original
dreams.
Inception.
Yeah.
But overall, dude, this movie is just so much fun, especially coming from like watching the Terrifier, which is because the Terrifier kind of has some elements of Freddy, the playing around with the victims, but it's so dark. This one's just kind of a great time, even though, ultimately everyone's coming to the same end. They're getting killed for the most part. It's a fun journey.
Yeah, I enjoy him toying with people.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's like, oh, what's he going to do now?
Yeah, and like he does some weird, like, I don't know. I feel like Freddy has no boundaries. Like he can kind of almost do whatever he wants or turn into what he wants. I mean, he's like lives within a dream world.
You mean like with his powers?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that's why it makes him so much fun. You have no idea what he's going to do because anything's possible.
Like, I think his goal is just to scare you. And then, well, I don't want to get into too much. I don't know. Overall, I thought the movie was done really well. I enjoyed it. I think it holds up over time. Like I watched it twice and enjoyed it both times.
I watched it like 3 or 4 times. It's great. I was listening to it yesterday while my son was at practice and was having a good time with it.
Oh, you're listening to it.
Well, I watch it and then I listen to it because I want to kind of like remind myself of what happened.
Okay. All right. That's what we think. What does the tomato meter say? So I already know the numbers kind of because I put it on here. Let's see if Darren can match them. I
kind of already saw one of them.
Okay,
I saw
the critics is high.
Critics is like 90 something, which actually shocked me. Audience has got to be like an 87.
Yeah, I mean, it's 84.
Yeah.
93 critics, popcorn meter, 84%. Pretty solid.
Dude, I'm going to be honest. I'm shocked that the critics are that high.
Well, I mean, dude, it's hard to even say this is old. Like,
I know, well, that's what I'm saying. But like with traditionally horror movies, I feel like they don't get a high rating unless they're just like very artistic, right?
yeah, usually the critics, like, there has to be something. You're right. I think it is super artistic or something very different, like out of the norm in order to get a high rating.
Well, and the hard part of this is we don't remember. Well, I don't think we were alive. Wait, sorry, what year did this come out? It was
84.
Yeah, we weren't even alive yet. So it's hard to say how this was received in the public. But I know it's always been, for me, Freddy, like Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy was always one of my favorite killers. And after watching this, I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember why.
You know what? That's a funny thing. Like when a movie comes out, especially back in the day, this was probably like some revolutionary stuff. Like, oh my gosh, like this guy's in dreams and like you take it for granted now. Like it's like kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, yes, he teleports in dreams and does some other stuff. You just kind of watch it. But like at that time, you probably felt totally different about it. You're like, holy cow, this guy, like it probably scared people.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Now we're like desensitized, but it's not only that it's in dreams and he's playing around. It's like the vibe Wes Craven creates. It's just fun. Like the music, like the sound effects, the things Freddy does. It's just all so weird and entertaining.
Hallway.
9, 10, never sleep. So scared.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, I'll say that. Let's save it for the final rating, but you know what I mean.
F it. I'll give it to you right now. Want me to score it? Dare me.
Okay, let's jump into the movie. We start out with an opening nightmare sequence. You're going to see this. We're jumping a lot between
Was that my throat?
Yeah. You always get on me when I have to cough or anything. I like how you tried to play it off. You did like a growl.
Yeah, It's the stupid Starbucks coffees, dude.
They do. There's we get heavy cream in them.
It's too much cream though. They don't know how to like throttle. Can you like limit the cream?
You
we almost
do.
didn't tell them
do.
like half that stuff, dude.
That's the thing. For we gotta talk a little about Starbucks real quick. I mean, when you order, they're pretty good at being consistent, and the problem is the cream. They're not. The cream, you can get a heavy creamer, someone who likes to put a lot in, or a light creamer. I prefer a light creamer.
You mean a heavy cream but a light amount of cream?
Yeah, I'm talking about I'm describing the person pouring it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And well, here's the thing too, by the way. I can't drink coffee without heavy cream. I love it.
A light amount.
Yeah, just a little bit. You just gotta like take the edge off. Anyways, back to Freddy.
So we open in a nightmare sequence. This is where we kind of see Freddy with his long claws. This is they first introduce him. Like he's like putting his claws together in the beginning.
Yeah, and let's pretend like, it's funny because you just assume everyone knows Freddy, which probably most of you guys do, but maybe some people haven't seen this. Freddy's an interesting character. He's got like this hat, this little, what is it, fedora? I don't know what they call it.
I think it's a fedora.
He's got like the sweatshirt with like the red and what is it, light blue or something lines.
Green.
I don't know. It could be whatever colors.
Yeah.
And then he's got the gloves with
iconic,
finger.
but yeah.
So you know what's funny is I always thought the knives were out of his fingers, but it's really a contraption he's made where it's a glove where he puts his hand in.
Yeah, but
with the knives.
I feel like that may change over time.
Well, in Dream World, he can just make that part of his hand, I guess.
Yeah. So he's got the knives for fingers. Yeah, this is like a contraption. They're tied to his fingers, kind of. So in this dream, this is Tina. I mean, our first character. She's running through a dark, like steamy boiler room, mysterious place, and it's like that place is going to come back over and over again.
Yeah, he lives in the boiler room. Yeah,
correct.
Okay, I have a question.
In the dream boiler room.
I have an issue. Was there a sheep that ran by, or is that just totally in my mind?
Oh, no, there was a sheep.
Because I thought I saw a sheep, and I kept rewinding, and I'm like, and I didn't see it again. And I'm like, wait, did I make that up? Well, no, now I get it, because it's like Dreamland. They're sleeping, a sheep ran by. I only got it now that you just said that.
Why does a sheep run by?
Because in dreams, you count sheep, right?
To go to sleep.
Yes.
You didn't, yeah.
I didn't get that till you just said it. But I was like, why is there a sheep?
I actually didn't get that either till just now. Anyways, they keep coming down to this boiler room. We'll be back there multiple times. So Tina's running around, and you see Freddy is like, he's kind of just hunting her down, more of like toying with her as he's in this dream. Like he's like scratching metal pipes. He's like making noises, laughing, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like, where is he? I don't know. But I'm terrified, and she just keeps running around. Which,
And I don't like this setting. Like, I mean, it does make you like feel like kind of claustrophobic because it's like you're in these little catwalks, and there's just like this boiler room around you. There's always like a lot of long halls and stuff.
It's like you've been like when we go to Santa Cruz or something. Like they have the haunted houses there. That one place like you walk through. It reminds me of like a haunted house. It's narrow pathways where anything can jump out from any direction, right?
Yeah, but there's also a lot of that boiler room stuff that's like looming
smoke
over you.
Yeah.
No, it's like you can barely walk through these things.
No.
I don't know. Anyways, Tina ends up waking up, but okay, in the dream she got slashed. She wakes up, there's a slash on her. It wasn't just like her nightgown got slashed.
Yeah, so they're setting the stage. Like she's dreaming, but it seems like there's real world consequences going on.
Yeah, there's a bridge between the two, and we'll be talking more about that. So the next day at school, we meet the whole friend group. So we have Tina, this girl who had this dream. Her boyfriend is Rod, who's a character. We'll get into that. And then we have Nancy and Glenn. Glenn is Johnny Depp.
Yeah, you know what's funny? That's kind of it. There's some characters on the outside, but that's really the main group. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. It's not like they're hanging out with other people. This is pretty much who we got.
Pretty simple here,
which I do like because it's easier to break down.
It's 100%. I'm like, that's easy to keep track of in your mind. The more characters, I'm like, God, I got to remember what's going on here.
Yeah, who they are, all that kind of stuff. It's crazy. So the group decides they're going to spend the night at Tina's house to accompany her while her mother's away. Because Tina, so she kind of, I kind of skipped it, but she kind of tells them that she's having these dreams, and they all kind of like, I mean, what any normal high school kids would be like, yeah, whatever. Like,
what's the main girl's name?
Nancy.
It is Nancy. Nancy also, didn't she have the same dream?
She explains it at a later part.
Okay,
she talks about that.
Okay.
They're at Tina's house. And then we see Johnny Depp. He's got like the worst excuse ever, like for being over there. He like calls his parents, but then he says he's at his aunt's, but he plays a tape that has like car crashes and stuff in
That was
it.
so stupid.
It was so dumb. And then he's like on the phone with his mom, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there was just a car crash outside. Like I'm gonna call the cops." It's like, holy cow, dude, the story's getting out of control. Like if they weren't gonna come and like check on you, now would be the time.
Yeah, but okay, yes. In the real world, that would be a horrible excuse. However, I like it because it's stupid. I like silly movies sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess whatever. It doesn't matter.
No.
So, anyways, we learned that Tina isn't the only one having these nightmares. Nancy also has them too. And it's the same guy with the red and green sweatshirt with the long fingernails.
Right. You know what's funny? They're not as surprised as I feel like Tina's taking it really seriously, but everyone else is like, "Oh, that's just kind of weird." But I'd be like, "Dude, that's really freaking weird."
Like, we had the dream of the same person haunting us.
Yeah, and it's like this killer with the same glove, the knives for a hand or whatever. That'd be terrifying. I'd be like, "Dude, something's wrong."
Yeah, this guy's bridging dreams.
Yeah,
It's not good.
No, it's not.
So now in the house, we have Glenn, Tina, and Nancy, okay? As they're sitting around, they hear some scraping sounds. They go outside, and we're about to meet our fourth dude, Rod, okay? Glenn goes out to investigate, and he's like looking around for this noise, and Rod comes out of nowhere and just lays this dude out.
Yeah.
Like, just totally like, it's like, a full tackle. I don't even know, what do you call it? A spear?
Good form. Yeah, spear would be a good. Yeah,
He like flies at him and knocks him down. Anyways,
and Rod's kind of like the prankster bad boy, right? He's got that bad boy energy.
I had a hard on this morning when I woke up, Tina.
well, first of all, like I don't like the pranks. Like all these movies, they always do pranks, and kids don't take pranks serious enough.
Well, but you have to do a prank to do the fake out. It works for as the audience. We get faked out, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
You have to do it because it's like, oh, is it Freddy? Nope, it's just Rod.
It's just Rod.
You know what's funny though, too? So Rod is dating Tina, but it's almost like they don't like each other. Like I get confused. I'm like, wait, is this consensual?
Dude, it's weird. It comes off as it is. Their relationship seems strange. Like it was almost like she didn't like him and like wanted their help to stay away from him, but then she goes and sleeps with him immediately. So
Yeah, I think it didn't convey what was actually going on in the relationship. It's basically he's just a bad boy.
well, I'll kind of explain because the first thing he says is like, "You guys trying to have an orgy?" And it's like, okay, it is weird. Like it's all, and again, when he says it, it's almost like he believes it a little,
Well, he's hoping maybe. I don't know.
Well, I don't think he was in on it. I think he thought they were without him.
Some people are into that too. You know?
Anyways, but Glenn says maybe a funeral, to which Rod pulls out a switchblade. So it's like, that's kind of intense.
Yeah, again, I was confused on like, oh, that was a weird touch,
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Rod's a wild dude.
Okay, long story short, he grabs Tina. They go straight to Tina's mom's bed, which also I thought was kind of strange. They went to the mom's bed. Why don't they just go to her bed?
I mean,
Kind of a weird thing. But anyways, I guess they went to Tina's mom's bed.
okay, you're pointing out stupid details. However, that is a good point. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I know. I feel like Rod wanted to be in her mother's room.
But maybe the bed's bigger.
Okay. Anyways, Glenn and Nancy, they're on a whole different page. Nancy her only goal is to provide comfort for Tina because Glenn's trying to make out and stuff. They're
Well,
sleeping over.
We should say the whole reason that they're at the house is because Tina wanted them over there because she's nervous about this dream, right? She's scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and she takes that serious. Nancy takes it serious. But Glenn's trying to make moves. Nancy is not having any
Well,
of it,
let's be
though.
real though. If you were Glenn in this situation and these girls are talking about a dream and you're alone in the house, like, would you really care about the dream or would you be trying,
Well, dude, too, like Tina's up with Rod. Like they're smashing up in the mom's room. Like you can make out or something.
I mean, yeah, no, I agree. I'm not,
Yeah,
hey, we're on the same team here.
I don't know. I'm thinking Nancy, I was like, I'm going to be breaking, I don't know, maybe like get out of this relationship.
All right, well,
Seems a little odd. Like you can't even make out. Like, come on. So Rod and Tina finish up what they're doing adult stuff up there, right? Then he admits that he also had some of these nightmares.
oh, did he talk about Freddy too?
Yeah, but he kept it very vague.
It's funny because I almost feel like they all have had these.
They have and do.
But they I think they kind of allude that the boys have. They're just not admitting it.
Yeah, they just don't really talk. It's guy stuff. You bury that stuff
Again,
deep inside.
if we're all having the same dream, we're going to be talking about that. It's freaking
Dude,
weird.
we wouldn't stop talking about it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So Tina drifts off to sleep, but then she awakens because she hears something hitting the window, and she notices there's rocks being aggressively thrown at this window. Like it's almost breaking the window. So she tries to wake Rod up, but he's out cold. It ain't happening. And this is where we get into these dreams where it takes you a minute to figure out if it's a dream or not.
Well, again, it's confusing on whether it is or it's not. I mean, I think it's by design, like the whole thing. Well, we're gonna get into Inception theory later.
It goes deep. The very end, we're gonna have to talk for a little bit about.
Yeah.
So we see Nancy or above Nancy, so at the same time. So Tina wakes up, tries to wake up Rod. There's stuff thrown in her window. We go to Nancy, and Freddy's coming through the wall.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. That was an awesome scene, actually.
Yeah,
it's really cool because Nancy's sleeping and there's a crucifix on the wall. And Freddy's pushing through the wall.
Well, there wasn't. If the crucifix fell off, then he came through. But she's holding the crucifix, so he goes back in the wall, and then she hangs it back above herself.
Dude, that was an awesome effect. I loved it. It was just creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's just weird. Yeah, I don't know. It worked.
Yeah, anyways, it was just kind of neat. So it kind of shows you there's something to the crucifix. Although it doesn't really play a huge role in this, but it is in the song, which we will talk about when we get there. All right. So anyways, Nancy's safe for now. Tina goes to investigate in the backyard, and she hears Freddy calling her name. Now we get a full shot of what Freddy looks like. And this gets kind of weird because he's walking down the alley. He's got his little fedora, his red and green shirt on. And he's got he looked like Stretch Armstrong, really.
Okay, again, I love this scene as well because his arms extend out. And that's what it's just so weird. It's so weird looking and creepy because it's why are his arms gigantic?
Yeah, they got big and long and they just stretch as because he's scraping the alley, the walls.
So you know what's really funny? I thought that was really scary, but then immediately it lost me when he started running.
Oh, dude, yeah, something don't look right in there.
I'm this guy can't run.
And he looked really small.
He looked tiny.
Yeah, I was what is this? But he kind of shifts all over the place, what he looks like. So
yeah, it's true.
Very weird. Anyways, then this is where I got the feeling he's just here to terrorize, because he's calling her, he calls her, and then he cuts off his fingers in front of her, and green ooze is pouring out.
Yeah, he's just trying to get reactions from him. Watch this, snip, and then boom, fingers are gone.
Fingers gone. Yeah. So they end up getting tackled, or he tackles her, and then she goes to grab his face, but his skin sloughs off, and it's just a skull.
Dude, again, it was awesome because it's just what the F is going on?
Rod ends up waking up because he's laying in bed next to her, right? So he wakes up. And she's under the sheet, and it's crazy because she's getting attacked.
This part's nuts, dude. This part is really, really creepy.
Yeah, it's almost hard to describe. So she's getting stabbed and sliced in front of him, but then she lifts up, and she's getting spun around. In fact, she spins and hits him.
Yeah, well, and then she gets slammed onto the wall, and she starts going up to the ceiling. It is really weird.
It almost turns into an exorcism movie or something.
That's exactly what I thought. I was it reminds me of something I've seen in an exorcist movie.
Yeah, where she's on the wall being attacked and whatever. Anyways, long story short, she finally drops to the bed and just a blood explosion.
Dude, that's the thing too. They don't skimp out on the blood in this one.
No.
Because she wasn't that bloody till she hit the bed and then it's just everywhere. And Rod's what on earth happened?
Yeah. And all this commotion woke up Glenn and Nancy too. So they break into the room, and when they go in, Rod's gone.
Rod just took off, and yeah, Tina's just dead.
Yeah, and obviously Rod didn't do it, but he knows he's getting pinned for this murder, I guess, because he was in there.
And he's the bad boy, so it's that on top of it. He probably knows he's going to be a suspect. He's carrying around with a switchblade.
Yeah, and probably realistically not a great guy.
Nancy's Rod didn't do it, and I'm I would have thought immediately Rod did that.
Well, I think everyone except for Glenn. Well, I guess it's just them two. The other one's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, Glenn thinks he did it. Nancy doesn't. So, well, I don't know. There's some convincing that goes on. We'll get to it. So we go to the police station where we find out Nancy's dad, he's like a lieutenant with the police force.
Yeah.
And he's like investigating the scene. He's kind of the one in charge.
And the mom and dad are split. Divorced, divorced household.
They are? Oh, I didn't even put that together.
I'm pretty sure because he's not ever at the house.
That is true. And there does seem to be a disconnect.
Yeah, I think they're split up.
I don't know if they ever said that, though.
I'm going to say they are.
Okay. Anyways, her name's Marge. I just like the name, so I threw it in here. So they kind of ask her some questions. Basically, what we get from it, Nancy reveals to them that she thinks like she's having these dreams and there's more going on here.
Yeah.
So the next day we see Rod is on the run. He's the number one suspect. Now, this is where I was like, I couldn't believe it's hard for my brain to understand this, but Nancy, her one goal, like after she was, witnessed a homicide of one of her best friends, she has to go to school.
Bro, this is like the next day. Your friend just got murdered. One of your other friends is on the run, a suspect in the murder. And she's like, I really want to go to school.
I've got to go to school, Mother. Otherwise, I'll sit up there and go crazy.
First of all, no kid in the world let's be honest. You're going to take every out you can get to not go to school.
I might not go to school for the whole year, let alone the next day.
I mean, it's true. It's true.
Like, you got to process some of this stuff, man. Like, she just got brutally murdered in this house. Like, you're going to have to deal with that,
I mean, yeah, it makes no sense.
But she actually has to argue with her mother to get her mom to let her go to school.
Arguably the most unbelievable part of the whole movie.
I didn't believe it at all. Anyways, the mom lets her go, but we learn her dad's actually staking her out.
Right.
The force, the police force, they're on top of this. They're watching her because they think Rod's going to come around. What she totally does. She walks literally like 10 feet down the road and Rod jumps out of a bush and grabs her.
Rod acts very much like he committed the crime.
Don't look at me like I'm some fucking fruitcake or something.
You know what I'm saying? Like he grabs her and pins her. Hey, don't scream. And then he tries to explain himself. He didn't do it, which, yeah.
Yeah, we get again. He didn't do it. Whatever. He kind of explains a little bit about it. But Nancy's dad pops out of a bush. It was a setup. Rod gets arrested. So now Rod's in jail. Nancy is now sitting in class, having trouble staying awake. So we're getting into this. This is probably the most, I would say, disturbing parts of the movie is you think what it would be like to be so afraid to not sleep.
Dude, I almost get tired watching it.
Wait, so afraid to sleep.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. No, it's hard to watch.
Like a double negative thing.
Yeah,
that gets really
very
confusing.
murky on what's going on. No, that's the thing when I'm watching this. I'm like, dude, I think I just have to. I wouldn't last more than 24 hours. I'd be dead.
I actually give these things more thought than I should. But I was thinking too, I'm like, dude, I would probably just start doing math, I guess. I don't condone that at all. But if you want to stay up for 5 days, I think that would be maybe a micro dosing.
But what's the point? Because eventually, as soon as you fall asleep, Freddy's coming. Here's the thing too. I'm not so sure it matters if you're asleep or not. Because I feel like he's around all the time.
So Nancy's trying to stay awake. And the kid gets up and they're doing Julius Caesar readings, JCs. And it's immediate. That would be nap time.
You know who the teacher is?
No.
Oh my God.
Who's the teacher?
Isn't that the lady that was the old lady that was in the game you just played? And she's in
The Conjuring lady?
Isn't it The Conjuring or something?
That's her?
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yes, that's her when she's young.
She's so young.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, that's her.
She doesn't look creepy.
No, she's just a teacher right now.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's amazing if it is.
Is it The Conjuring or is it Insidious?
I don't know.
I'll tell you right here.
Mush. All right. So in class, things start getting weird. So Tina starts to drift off. Nancy starts to drift off. She sees Tina's body in a body bag and she's calling her into the hall. Then she looks down the hall and there's a blood trail. So she decides she's going to start following it. Again, we're now transitioning into dream world. So she goes out in the hall and at the end she sees a body bag and it's just lifted up and drug again. And I'm like, man, would you follow that?
I don't know, man. It was creepy though. Cause again, it's that whole, when you're in the school with kids around, then all of a sudden it's it's how these dreams go. All of a sudden the world is just empty.
And the halls are so dark and long. There is something weird about being in a place too that's really busy when no one's there.
Yeah, it's always creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, she turns a corner, runs into a girl, knocks her down, and like kind of runs by her. And I like this part because the girl's wearing a Freddy sweatshirt. It's black hair. It's got the red and green. And as she runs past her, the girl transitions into Freddy.
No running in the hallway.
I thought that was creepy too, because it's like, this guy can just be anything.
Yeah.
You know, you'll now know, like, anytime you see those color schemes, that means Freddy's around.
Oh, he's there. Oh, yeah. So he turns into her, kind of like taunts or whatever. And she ends up, again, down in the boiler room. That's where all these dreams end up. Like, you're going to make your way through some weird door, and all of a sudden you're in the boiler room. Now he starts his game where he's cutting himself, revealing, like, the green blood and worms, scraping pipes. Like, he just does things to, like, terrorize. It's like he's got to build up. Maybe that is what this is. You have to build a certain amount of fear in the person to then kill them. I think like you're giving him power with fear, right?
I think that's the whole idea of it, yeah.
So he has to like build that meter up to kill you.
Come to Freddy.
Actually, that totally makes sense. Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it works. Like, all these things get really creepy.
Yeah. Well, Nancy pulls a gangster move because she's in the dream. And I guess she realizes she's dreaming and she can't wake up. So there's, again, it's like a boiler room. There's like a steam pipe. And she takes her arm and she burns it to wake herself up from the dream.
Okay. Yes, that's cool. But how does that make sense then when he's killing you in the dream, you don't wake up?
I know. That's in the continuity stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like we'll talk more about the overall, like how this works. Cause
it doesn't totally make sense, but I like it. So we'll go with it.
Well, you got to kind of talk about the ending too. Cause
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay. Anyway, she wakes up. She ends up getting just like she makes a big commotion in the classroom, but she leaves to go home, right?
Right.
But does she? Because she actually just goes over to the police station to visit Rod.
Right.
But she wants to figure out what really happened to Tina. This is where he explains more. Like he thought it was his nightmare because he's been having dreams about the guy with knives for fingers. Now Nancy's fully in that Rod did not kill her. This is something else.
I kind of liked it too because Nancy just took all that information, didn't really explain anything to Rod, and she just leaves him.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Rod's Rod.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, anyways, now, okay, this is probably my favorite. Well, okay, let me rephrase this. Nancy's taking a bath. Okay, that has nothing to do with my favorite part. She starts singing the song.
Okay, wait. I wanted to quiz you. Do you know the whole song from memory, not looking at the screen?
Well, I wrote it all down. I wouldn't have known it before writing it.
You know it all now, though?
Do you?
Yeah.
1, 2, Freddy's.
Coming for you.
3, 4, better lock your door.
5, 6.
Oh, not pick up sticks.
No.
5, 6, grab your crucifix.
7, 8.
7, 8, gonna stay up late.
Yeah, I gotta stay up, or yeah, whatever.
Okay.
And 9, 10.
9, 10, never sleep again.
You know what I always would think 9, 10?
What?
Freddy's back again.
That's good too.
That's a future one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that they change it?
I'm pretty sure in the like sequel or one of the future ones, 9, 10, Freddy's back again.
Dude, I think as a kid though, that song really creeped me out.
Oh, dude, I still remember it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't remember all those parts like until I wrote it down for this, but
no, it's just very effective. It is taking that. What was the rhyme before this?
1, 2,
Better
buckle your shoe.
Yeah, so it's taking a classic. What is it?
It's hard not to
I don't
do
know.
that cadence though. Like when you do it now, because it's 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
It's just so weird when like little kids are singing that. Now it makes sense because what we're gonna find out, Freddy has a past.
Yeah, it's a dark one. It's really dark. So, anyways, Nancy ends up drifting off to sleep in the tub. She ends up getting drugged down into like what I would describe as like an ice hole.
Well, I'll say this first. Again, another iconic scene when his hand comes up out of the water with those claws on it between her legs, it's just weird.
Oh yeah, he does a little preview where his hand comes up to kind of like because she starts to drift off. That is weird, man. That's uncomfortable.
Oh, and then then like you said, her getting drugged under. That's like my worst nightmare. I used to hate like closing my eyes in the water. I always felt like I'd open them and I'm in the middle of the ocean.
What?
Come on, you guys have had that happen, right?
I've never had that happen.
Well, it never happened, but it felt like it might happen, you know? Yeah,
but you're in a pool.
Are you though?
I mean, I guess if you're in the ocean, that's really,
No, I don't know. I just always thought, like, what if you open your eyes and you're transported in the ocean? Like, what would you do?
swim to the shore.
Like in the middle of the ocean?
Okay. Okay. I see where we're going here. No, so it's almost like somebody cut a hole in ice, and she's like, jumped in that hole. That's what she's seeing. Like she looks up and there's like a tiny little hole to escape through, and he's dragging her down. She ends up making it out though, and her mom breaks in 'cause she hears the commotion. But Nancy doesn't tell her mom what really happened. She just is like, "Oh, I just slipped." So
I mean,
it's
because
secrets.
honestly, how do you explain that to your parents?
I would try. I'd be like, I don't know. I'm being like totally terrorized here. Something bad in my dreams is happening.
Yeah, I mean,
I may be crazy.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, this is where
probably because you've been doing meth to stay awake.
Yeah. So, well, speaking of that, this is where Nancy becomes a little bit of a dope fiend because she gets in the cabinet and finds like the awake pills, which is pretty much probably some type of amphetamine, I would say.
Well,
And she starts popping these pills to stay awake, which again, nothing works. Like they try to stay awake, but
well, it's the human body. You can't. That's the thing. You can't escape it. That's what makes it so scary. It's like there's nothing you can do. You can prolong it, but eventually you're gonna fall asleep.
okay, a quick question. Would you rather take one big nap with Freddy or would you rather have micro naps?
Well, probably micro, because then maybe you can escape. Because if you're there for a long time, you're probably gonna die.
So maybe taking little naps would be the way to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, but dude, a 1 minute nap could kill you, even at that. So
Interesting. All right. So Glenn ends up climbing in to Nancy's room. So Nancy's back in her room. Glenn climbs up. We learn he lives like across the street. Like they can see each other's windows. And it's like it reminded me of the Scream scene where the boyfriend climbs through the window.
dude, totally. I even thought, I'm like, did Scream take that from Freddy? I don't know.
He kind of looks like that guy.
I
too.
agree. Honestly, when I first watched this, before I realized it was Johnny Depp, at first I'm like, what's his name? Skeet Ulrich?
I don't remember.
I think that's his name. I'm like, is that him? And then I'm like, wait, no, that doesn't make sense.
There's there is some real similarities there.
For sure.
So Glenn doesn't believe in these dreams, even though like I think he's having them too. He's like in denial about it, but Glenn's kind of an idiot. Like I'm gonna be honest, he's just
he's a high school kid, you know?
Well-
we were all idiots.
yeah, but he's very unreliable, which we'll get to.
Well,
So-
but he doesn't believe it totally either. So like he probably, even though someone was brutally murdered, but you wouldn't connect that to Freddy just
I
yet.
also don't think they really care about that murder. They don't seem affected by it really. It's kind of like whatever.
I mean, that's true as well. Yeah. Nancy just went to school. Everyone's back to normal.
Yeah, it's like she was like really murdered.
I know. We'd be like, what happened? Do you think our friend really killed her? I don't know. What about Freddy? I think he might be doing it.
Yeah, I think the whole thing, it's the focus of Freddy, not really anyone else. You don't really, to be honest, you don't really get to know a lot of the characters even.
Just Nancy, pretty much.
Yeah, anyways. So Tina asked for one thing, or Tina's dead. Nancy asked for a favor from Glenn. She asked him to just stay awake while she hunts Freddy. Now, this is where you can see Nancy goes on the offensive. She's over for, like Freddy, and she'll only get more powerful.
Yeah, she's had enough of playing around, which I think you eventually would, because you don't want to be a victim. You want to go stand up to the killer.
And you want to freaking sleep, dude.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm like, dude, I got to kill this guy because I got to get some sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. So she warns him Glenn, he can't mess up. It's very important. Again, all she asks him to do is stay awake. So he's sitting next to her in the bed. She's going to go to sleep, right? And she's going to find him. So Nancy goes in the dream world. She leaves. Now she's at her house, but it's a dream house. She goes walking down the street. She even checks that like Glenn is still there, and he kind of comes out behind a tree. This is really weird.
Glenn or Freddy?
Glenn.
I don't remember this
Yeah,
part.
she's walking down the road, and again, you get confused if this is a dream or real. And even now, as I'm reading this, I'm like, was this a dream or was this real?
I don't know.
We'll get to-
I think it's a dream.
So she ends up finding a broken window, and then she goes to the police department. She sees Freddy is walking into Rod's room, and he's kind of like toying with her. She tries to stop him, but then he kind of like disappears next to Rod. She's yelling for Glenn. Now Glenn's not answering anymore. Glenn's not there, right?
Right.
So it's weird because you think she's actually at the police station, but it all looks real until it's not.
I mean, I was pretty aware this was Dream World at this point. So,
But Glenn did pop out of it behind the tree.
well, why would Glenn be behind the tree though? You know
Correct,
what I'm saying?
That is true.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird. So, anyways, Nancy sees Caterpillar Snake Tina.
I don't even know what that means.
Oh, that's right. That's where Tina has like, I think it's Tina has like caterpillars coming out of her mouth. So as she's walking home, she sees like there's like worms or something coming out of her mouth. Then it turns into like this pile of like gross snakes. Like,
Oh, I don't
mud
even remember
snakes.
that part.
Yeah, it's really gross. So Freddy ends up finding her. Now the chase is on. So she runs back to her house. It goes up the stairs, but then the like stairs are melting where her feet's kind of going into
There's
them.
something weird about that scene that I just love.
Save me from
It's just so weird that she's walking on the steps and it almost turns into marshmallows.
It does seem marshmallow-like, yeah.
It's again like it's just like you just don't expect any of this. It's like what the heck? The stairs turned to marsh. Why?
Yeah, it's
But it's
very
just Freddy's
odd.
just messing with them.
I don't know. So she ends up going to a room where she can actually see Glenn and he's just asleep. So she's in her room, but it's a dream and Glenn's asleep. But she can't wake herself up. Freddy at this point like explodes from a mirror and does a grab on her, right?
Right.
They wrestle around. Looks like he's about to get her. Then her alarm clock goes off and she wakes up.
Yep. So the funny thing is, it's like you don't know how long she was in that dream, right? You'd imagine for a long time.
You don't know.
Yeah, but I guess it doesn't matter. But man, it's just a bad situation for them.
Yeah, I mean, what I learned is you just can't trust Glenn. This guy is not. He doesn't take it that serious. And like, she went in there to battle against Freddy, and like the dude just fell asleep.
Yeah, but he doesn't believe that Freddy's real at this point. He's gonna find out.
Well, he should. He should. Anyways, Nancy ends up going to the actual police station, not in the dream world, and we see in Glenn's cell, or not Glenn, in Rod's cell, the blanket. Freddy is taking control of the blanket, and he's wrapping it around his neck to hang him.
Right. So Nancy, after seeing that dream, it was really I almost think that whole dream sequence was just a warning. Like Freddy's letting her know, hey, I'm gonna kill your friend now. And so Nancy's going to, to the police station to get Rod out of trouble. But that's a weird thing. So yeah, you're right. The blankets come up to kill Rod, but that's real life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he can control blankets. Or was it though? Or did he do it in the dream? It's confusing.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Because then you have to get.
Here's the question. Are we in a dream right now? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Because the funny thing, we'll have to get to it at the end because it's like, it could be always the dream within the dream within the dream.
We're so lost in it.
Because it's interesting. All right. So anyway, Nancy tells her dad's there, of course, tells him like, just check on him. They end up going to check on him and he's dead. He's been strangled by a sheet, but the dude just died, but they immediately pronounce him dead.
Yeah.
Like,
Isn't there something you could do?
Absolutely.
Chest compressions or something?
You could legit, the guy could probably still be alive. Like he just suffocated, like unless they broke his neck, which it didn't look to be the case.
Yeah.
I think
Bad police
there
work.
was some negligence. There's a lawsuit pending on this one.
I mean, let's be honest. They didn't really like Rod anyways.
No. Well, no. And we jump to the next scene. We are now at the funeral and Marge and the dad are talking to Nancy. I don't know why I put that first. It sounds weird. Nancy's talking to her parents. Okay.
Yeah.
They're by the car. Like they're going to leave the funeral and she tells them about it's Freddy and she explains who he is. Like he's got this weird hat, this red and green sweater. And there's a weird reaction by her parents.
You can tell the parents know something's up. Like they know something more. So we obviously are going to find out more and they like know who this is.
Yes. So Freddy is not just a random person.
Right.
There's some history. We'll get into it. So Marge takes Nancy to the Kaju Institute for Sleep Disorders. So she decides she wants to get her daughter some help. She's going to take her to a sleep doctor to explain what's going on in these dreams, right?
Right.
This doctor has no clue what he's talking about.
I was listening to this. I don't know. I'm not in the medical field, but I was listening. I'm like, none of this sounds real.
Well, dude, the Marge asks him, like, so what are dreams about? And this is the doctor's response.
Mysteries, incredible body hocus pocus. Truth is, we still don't know what they are or where they come from.
That's a doctor. He has no, it's like, so what do you know?
It was the 80s, bro.
What do you know about these? Why are we even here? Would be my next question.
Yeah, I know. What's the point of monitoring this hocus pocus?
Yeah, he gives no like scientific backing of anything. This is a bunch of hocus pocus. Anyways, Nancy falls asleep. Her readings go off the charts. She's being attacked. They get in, they wake her up. The doctor tries to syringe her to put her into a deep sleep, which again is just like weird. Like, I don't think you can just do that. She's not like a mental patient. Like,
well, here's the thing. She comes out of this, yeah, she clearly is being attacked by Freddy. Comes out of the dream. She's got scratch marks on her arm now. And she's got a freaking hat.
oh, yeah. She pulled his hat out of the dream world.
And no one's like, hey, how'd you get the hat? And where'd those scratch marks come from? They're just like, hey, this girl's crazy.
Well, no, her mom, they noticed him.
I don't feel like they gave it enough attention. For me, I'd be like, oh my God, something like paranormal's happening.
It'd be
here.
like, we got to call the FBI. We got to call, I don't even know who, ghost hunters.
Yeah, some priest or something,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, she pulled a hat out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like scratches, maybe you could say like she accidentally scratched herself real quick.
Yeah,
But like a hat, like a fedora, where you pull that from?
that's a great question.
Anyways, so Nancy, they go back to her house. Nancy overhears her mom talking to her dad on the phone about this hat and like what's going on. Again, there's something going on more than what they're telling her.
Right.
So her mom tries to hide this hat from her, which it doesn't even work. I don't know. Nancy ends up confronting the mom about Freddy again, kind of points out his name, like, Mom, his name's even on the hat. It's Fred Krueger. So like they get the name and you can just tell the mom knows who this is.
Yeah, and again, this is the funniest thing is like she's now we know, we're gonna find out. The parents know who this is. She's saying she's having this dream. Her friend had this dream about this guy got killed. The parents aren't like, oh my God, this is crazy. They're just like, oh, well, we know the guy. That's odd.
Yeah, it's really weird. Well, her mom even says, like, Fred is dead. Fred Krueger is dead, but she doesn't explain further at this point.
Yeah.
But she will here in a minute. So Nancy ends up going over to Glenn, or to take a walk with Glenn, where he finally admits he's also having these dreams. So now we have every single kid has had these dreams.
Which is crazy, which I do love that in this movie. It's just such a weird plot point. It's just an interesting design of this movie that you have all these kids having the same dream with this guy's attacking him. It's fun.
Yeah, I like it. He's a dream jumper.
Yeah.
So this is where it's kind of funny because while they're having this talk, we see Nancy's reading about booby traps and like IEDs.
Well, we're going to see. This turns into a little bit of a Home Alone thing.
I totally have that written in here.
Of course you
it's
do.
a total Home Alone thing.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. So she ends up leaving Glenn, goes back to her house, finds her parents have now barred up the window. I guess it's her mom. I thought they both lived there, but you do only see the mom in the house.
I did find this interesting. I'm like, why are they barring up the windows for Nancy? Just, again, the only crazy behavior she had is when she was attacked in a dream where she came out with scratches and a hat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think she's crazy, but something is happening to her.
I guess in her mom's mind that somebody is either impersonating the guy or something and coming after her. I don't know.
I got the vibe they're actually protecting. They want to keep Nancy inside. They're worried that she's like insane.
That's a crazy move to bar her in the house.
I don't know.
They do lock. I mean, she is locked inside though.
Yeah.
So it is weird. So her mom at this point ends up finally taking her to her cellar. She sits by the furnace and explains Freddy was a child murderer. He killed like 20 kids. He's like a crazy person.
Well, and not only that, they also have his gloves in the house.
Yeah, her mom kept as a memento.
Sure.
His claws.
Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, and she keeps him in the furnace.
Yeah, so we find out the parents killed Freddy. They lit him on fire, right?
Yeah, so they basically, okay, it's a kind of a convoluted story, but it actually boils down to one thing. You got to have a valid search warrant.
Oh, what?
Yeah, because they caught him and they knew it was him, but they searched his house under they didn't have the search warrant signed or something, so they let him off.
The police let him off.
After knowing he murdered 20 kids, he got off.
So then the parents had to take over and do justice.
Vigilante group. Yeah, we had a group of vigilantes. They basically put gasoline down. Freddy lived in a boiler room, I guess. Or no, that's where he kept the kids, maybe, I think is what it was. Anyways, they caught him down there. They put gasoline down and burned him up.
So, I mean, it is beyond crazy that she would take his gloves as a memento. I mean, that's an insane thing to do. Why would you keep like that keepsake? Like, hey, remember that time we lit the child predator on fire?
Also, very much would link you to this crime.
Actually, yeah, you're right. That's evidence.
Yeah.
You go to jail for that. But I just love it because this, her daughter's telling her, the mother, about how she's tortured by Freddy Krueger in her dreams. Her friends got killed by her. She's being attacked. She got scratch marks from him. And the mom's like, no, he's dead. And I'm like, well, clearly, sure, he's dead, but he's somehow affecting everyone still.
Yeah.
The mom just seems like, no, it's not a big deal. Like, get over it.
Again, though, are we in a dream?
I don't know.
It's like this movie. Okay, so Glenn and Nancy decide, they make a plan that once again, Glenn's gonna have to stay awake and protect Nancy while she tries to get Freddy out of the dream, like the hat. Because now that she realizes she can take things from Dream World and bring him out, she wants to grab Freddy, bring him into the normal world so they can kill him or arrest him.
Which actually is a good plan, because how else are you going to kill the guy?
I don't know. It's a tough one.
I think that's a good plan. So I support this.
Yeah, I like Nancy. She's got ideas and she's bold. She's getting after it.
Yep.
So Nancy gives them the details. They're going to meet at her porch at midnight. But she makes it clear, whatever you do, do not fall asleep. Too much Glenn, like, totally forgets this.
Yeah,
He just doesn't care.
He didn't really seem to care about anything. You're right. He's just kind of chilling in his room.
Dude, he's the worst. I'm telling you, he sucks.
He does suck.
Now, I will say, though, Glenn did not actually agree because this whole deal went down on the phone because they're at their houses across. They're looking at each other through the windows. She gave him the whole plan. If you watch it back, he never agreed to it. He just hung up on her.
Don't fall asleep. Midnight?
Well, it makes sense. It does make sense because I never got the impression Glenn ever took any of this seriously.
Yeah, I don't think he
even
cared.
though multiple people have been murdered now, Glenn don't care.
I think Nancy probably should have kissed him back in that beginning scene.
May have changed the whole movie.
I think he was kind of over Nancy's BS, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, so Glenn immediately goes in his room. He's like out cold pretty quick. Like he's asleep on his bed. His mom actually comes in and wakes him up. So again, he's supposed to meet her at 12 o'clock. He's not keeping track of any of this. He just is on his bed watching TV and falls asleep.
He has no intentions of making this meeting.
No. And his mom wakes him up. Their relationship's weird anyways. He's kind of a weird kid. And he's like talking about weird stuff. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You have to watch that part. He's talking about like I forget what he says. Like,
here, I'll play it.
Oh, I wasn't listening to the tube, Ma. Just watching. Miss Nude America's gonna be on tonight.
Well, how can you hear what she's going to say?
Who cares what she says?
Don't be such a smart guy.
so it's now 11:42 when he woke up. Like he could have easily missed this and wouldn't have known at all.
Right.
Whatever. He's just not concerned. So back with Nancy, her mom tucks her into bed, tells her there's nothing to worry about and leaves the room. Now Nancy starts her plan. And I like this part. She pulled out she has a whole coffee pot set up under her bed.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, she's got the whole coffee pot and she's like just chugging coffee.
But again, though, if you were in this situation, dude, you'd be doing whatever you could to probably stay awake. So I liked it.
I mean, I like it. Just I feel like she falls asleep very fast. And that's not even part of the plan, though.
Yeah, actually, she needs to fall asleep. So why would you even drink? I don't know. Whatever.
Right.
Who cares?
But this next scene also got weird because, again, she's in her nighttime outfit in bed. So she gets up when her mom leaves, drinks coffee, which she's supposed to be going to sleep. So it doesn't make sense. Then she goes to the closet and she changes out of her nighttime like shirt into a button-up nighttime shirt.
Well, now it's time for battle.
In a button-up?
I
Like,
don't
what is
know.
that about?
I don't know. I didn't even notice that.
I don't even get it. It's like she changed from one nighttime shirt to another nighttime shirt. Very odd.
Agreed. I
So-
didn't even notice that.
I just feel like this plan is very strange at this point.
I mean, I think the fact that someone's killing them in their sleep is strange as well.
Okay, I'm just
All right.
saying. All right, so she ends up looking out and sees Glenn's parents. So she's looking to see if Glenn's going to come over, and she sees his parents who are just staring at her, and the dad does not like Nancy at all. Like, he's just like, she's crazy. I don't want my son around her, blah, 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 right?
Right.
It's almost 12 o'clock. Nancy calls Glenn, who, surprise, surprise, is asleep again. He's
Right.
barely even stayed awake.
I
you
mean,
know?
this plan has gone sideways already. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Glenn's dad answers and just hangs up on her and takes the phone off the hook.
Yeah.
like-
The parents don't want anything to do with Nancy. They think Nancy's a bad apple.
Yeah. So now Nancy's on her own and she's, trying to figure out what she's going to do. Then the phone rings, picks it up, and she hears the screeching claws.
Ooh, Freddy's calling now.
Freddy's calling. She rips the phone out of the wall. What?
Well, no, again, this is the weird part is it's like she's not asleep, but Freddy's still affecting things in the,
Or is she? I know. It's Inception. I'm telling you.
yeah.
So she rips the phone cord out of the wall and then it rings again. Now, I did love this part.
This is, again, one of my favorite parts of the movie. He does such unique things.
Yes. So it says, Freddie says, "I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy," and French kisses her through the phone.
The tongue comes out of the phone.
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy.
It's just so gross.
But the way they did that was hilarious, dude.
Oh yeah, it was great.
It's just like it's like really bad effects, I guess, but I loved it.
It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and the French kiss is a bold move. Now, I don't think
Especially when you're a grown man doing that to a underage girl.
oh, that is also a weird take. Didn't think about that part. So Nancy tries to leave her house and she's totally locked in. Because again, the mom barred up the windows, locked the doors, and she's locked from the inside of the house. And her mom has the key, but her mom's lit right now. We learned her mom's an alcoholic.
Yeah, we saw her mom just chugging some bottle or something, which is, I don't really know why that play. I guess the idea is that she's living with these demons.
Yeah, I think it's like this stuff's been brought back up and she's got to bury it. All right, now we're gonna ratchet this up a notch. Glenn again is asleep on his bed when Freddy comes to visit him. And I kind of like this. Glenn basically gets pulled through his bed. It like sucks him in with the sheets and everything. And then we have a blood volcano.
Dude, this scene was insane. That like he goes down into the bed with like the TV, everything that's on his bed gets sucked in, and then it just spews blood up onto the ceiling, just everywhere. I mean, an insane amount of blood. I don't even know if the human body has that much blood.
I don't think so. It was like the Shining doors. You know how the Shining doors
Yeah.
open and the blood rushes out. Now think of that, except if it was like flipped. It's almost like if you looked at the Shining doors, but they dropped straight down and it just went whoosh everywhere, but now flip it upside down.
I almost wondered if to get this effect, the room was actually upside down and
Oh,
they were
I think
actually
so.
dumping things down.
Oh, I think so. I think it
Yeah.
was filmed upside down.
Yeah, it was really cool though, dude. A great effect.
Yeah. So Nancy's dad comes in, the cops get called on the murder scene because Glenn's mom comes in, screams, all that stuff. Cops come over and investigate. And I did like this because there's blood dripping through the ceiling. There's so much blood.
Yeah, like down below, blood's coming through.
Because he was up on the second story. So it
Oh,
dripped through to the bottom.
It's creepy. And even one of the cops is like, they brought a stretcher and the cop's like, hey man, you don't need that. Like there's nothing left of it.
You don't need a stretcher up there. You need a mop.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just blood. There was no body.
Good point. I don't think there was.
I didn't see one.
So Nancy's watching this whole thing unfold because again, outside her window, she can see the house. So she knows Glenn's dead now. Nancy calls over and she ends up to talk to like her dad. So she's calling over to the house to talk to her. I guess they plugged the phone back in.
I don't know.
Must have. So she knows Glenn's dead and she tells her dad that she's going to get Freddy. Again, she tries to tell everyone what she's doing. Nobody cares.
No.
So all she asks of her dad is in like 20 minutes. So she's going to go in Dreamworld, get Freddy. She just wants her dad to break into her house in 20 minutes to wake her up and arrest Freddy.
Here's the thing. Some crazy stuff is happening. If that's my daughter, I would probably be over there with her. Like, we need to like protect these kids because they're just like, this kid just exploded.
If you don't even believe in this dream stuff, there's a psycho murderer that just killed someone next door.
Yeah, you check on your children.
Like they don't, but nobody's investigating the scene. They're investigating the scene, but they're not hunting for anyone.
Right.
There's no manhunt.
No.
No hunting.
You're
a
right.
man.
There is no man. No.
Yeah. So anyways, her dad agrees to the plan, confirms he will be there very nonchalantly. So Nancy goes back to the house and starts setting up the Home Alone traps.
And this was really funny because, yeah, it's just like she sets up like a sledgehammer to the door.
We have, sledgehammer. So if he opens the door, it's going to hit him. There's explosive light bulbs, tripwires. I mean, she's got the whole set.
I almost expected like the firecrackers.
Yeah, it was really funny. But anyways, so Nancy sets it all up. And then she goes to the dream world. So she sets a watch. This is where she sets her watch, right?
I believe so.
I think she sets her watch with a timer on it that's going to pop her out of the dream. So she ends up walking down the basement, like her own basement, finds out those claws her mom had are gone. So this is where you're realizing, okay, I think we're in dream world.
Yeah, because Freddy's grabbed his claws, I think is the idea.
It's so weird because, yeah, it always takes you a minute to like figure out if she's dreaming or not, you know?
Well, which is kind of fun, though, because you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Which is our whole point of the movie.
True. So she ends up back down in the boiler room, and she's on the offensive. She's calling for Freddy. She wants him to come. She's got this plan, right?
Which is, let's be honest, it's a little bit of a shaky plan because you don't know when that alarm's going off.
Yeah, and I feel like he really could just murder you, too.
Yeah, you don't know what, you're in dream world. You don't know time. Like, time is nothing.
So, and then I guess to murder, he's got to build that fear. Now that I think about it, I guess Glenn acted like he didn't care, but I guess he was very frightened of Freddy.
We don't know.
Well, he died very quick. I mean,
he must have been terrified.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways, back in this dream, Freddy finds her, and she ends up, so there's a little chase that goes on. She ends up jumping like into this broken set of like this catwalk that they're on in the boiler room and falls down in front of her house.
I thought that was so strange too. Didn't Freddy know? Yeah, Freddy was chasing her, so then she jumped out.
Yeah,
right?
she like jumped, just like went for a dive.
And I was like,
the abyss.
what? Now she's outside of her house?
Dream world. Yeah, so she's outside of her house, and she looks at her watch and realizes she's only got seconds left to get Freddy. Well, then he appears.
Oh, so I guess the idea is the watch also in dream world, I guess, is telling the real time.
Yeah, that's a shaky concept.
That is very shaky.
That's a shaky one. So she runs, jumps, tackles Freddy as the clock goes off, wakes up. Now she's back in her bed.
But Freddy's not there.
Freddy ain't there.
It didn't work.
Until he is.
Boom.
Jumps out from behind the bed. The fight's on. Coffee pot to the head.
Yeah.
Sledge to the stomach. Does a backflip down the stairs. Nancy gets to the window, and this is where it's like you start getting annoyed with the cops in this movie, where she like breaks out windows and stuff, is like yelling like, he's here, come help me, and the cops are like,
everything's gonna be all right.
Like, hey, it's okay, the scene's fine. It's like, no, she's like being attacked.
No, this girl's being a little much, even though all the kids are dying in the city, but they're like, oh no, she's just being a little extra. So she's breaking freaking windows out.
Not only dying, there was like one of the most gruesome homicides ever next door. And this girl screaming from a house.
I mean, I think it's safe to say that's never been seen before or since. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So anyways, whatever. They don't care. Freddy goes on an attack downstairs. He hits another tripwire. Again, there is an explosion in this house. When this light bulb goes off, it explodes, and the cops still don't really care.
One of her improvised IEDs.
Yeah.
Or is it IEDs? Is that what it
Improvised
is?
Explosive device.
Yeah,
IED. You're thinking of the.
Yeah. I was like, did I say the wrong one?
I think there's a U in that. I think. So Nancy ends up catching Freddy downstairs in the basement. They go on this fight. They go down the basement. She throws like alcohol on him or something, or maybe it's gasoline. I don't even know. Lights him on fire and then shuts him down in the basement. So she's trapped him. Makes her way to the window, calls for the cops. Now they see smoke's like coming out of the house. They break in and they're coming to help her.
Right.
I did notice when they went inside, didn't seem like there was any smoke in the house.
Well, that's something you'd be aware of. I didn't notice that, but that makes sense. The thing I like how Freddy's fire footsteps were, you see where he's going because there's fire leading upstairs.
Yeah, because when the cops come in, they immediately tunnel down to the basement. But yeah, there's a trail of steps, and they're like little gasoline steps.
Yeah.
It's like it's fiery footprints that lead back up to the room, right? Okay, so Nancy ends up following these fire steps up to her room, and the dad's with her at this time too. So they find Freddy on top of the mom on fire.
Right.
So Freddy's on fire, like over the top of the mom. The dad comes with a sheet and smothers them, like puts out the fire, pulls it away. The mom is now a skeleton.
Oh, did she? I didn't even notice she turned into a skeleton.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure.
She's
burned up.
Whatever. Yeah, Freddy got his revenge, I think is the idea.
He definitely got his revenge. So the mom gets sucked into the bed and it's over.
And she's gone.
She's gone. Like, apparently Freddy's gone too.
Sure.
Right?
That's the, Freddy, we never saw him.
Okay. So Nancy and her dad do this embrace, and she basically tells her dad to go downstairs. Like, I got this up here. You go take care of that. Which, again, little...
I think this all makes sense once we get to the end.
Yeah. Okay. So Freddy starts rising out of the bed now, and Nancy knows he's here. Nancy knew this was going to happen. She knows the secret. It's all a dream, and he's not alive.
Yeah, and I think we said it earlier. I can't remember. Memory. Glenn was still kind of told her, like, Freddy gets his powers from making people scared. So the only way to defeat him is to ignore him almost ignore him. So then he doesn't have that power over you. If you're not afraid of him, he can't do anything.
Well, I wouldn't listen to Glenn because Glenn's dead.
Glenn clearly had no idea because he died the most gruesome of deaths.
Yes. But so this whole thing is, she took the power back from him. She's no longer afraid of him. She knows he's just a dream. She knows this trick. He tries to attack her and just like falls into the upside down or something.
She turned her back. She didn't care.
I know the secret now. You're nothing.
She didn't care. He goes to attack and he's gone. So she opens the door and we are transported back to her house. Oh, it's not back. I don't know. It seems like it's present time.
It seems like everything that had happened was a dream.
Yes.
And now everything's good. Her mom is there with her.
Her mom's there. You see, she's great. She said she's going to stop drinking. We see her friends that were once dead are all pull up in a nice convertible. And they're all having a good old time. Everyone's alive. Happy ending. She gets in the car. They're all going out. They put the top of the convertible on. And we see something that is a little disturbing.
The top is red and green like Freddy.
Freddy.
That's problematic.
Yes. So then the doors auto lock. They can't get out. Glenn, everybody's yelling in there. And then the car drives off as we hear. But it's not done yet because Nancy's mom is standing there waving as they go, only to have Freddy explode from like the little window in the door. And she gets yanked through this thing in a very strange way.
I mean, the effect was not great, but it worked. It was like shocking. I was like, what the F? She just like went sideways and through the window. This little window.
I feel like this is something I would do like in Photoshop, or not Photoshop, in editing software where you keyframe it.
Yeah, you just take them, you rotate. Well, first you have to mask the character, then rotate them, and then shrink them while pulling them back.
Yeah, you just make it, you squish it up, and
but
throw
dude,
it
it was cool though. It was shocking.
I liked it,
and that's the end of the movie.
And there it is. So, final thoughts, and then we'll get into some theory on like what dream we were in and how that worked.
But, so final thoughts. I mean, the movie was awesome. Like I was entertained.
We gotta rate it. What's your rating?
Okay, so
wait, I gotta come up with mine too. We won't even write it down. I'll just swing it.
Yeah. So but final thoughts, and I'll give it my rating.
Okay.
The movie was really fun. Entertained the whole way through. I thought the kills, just the effects with Freddy, like taking his face off, the extending arms, marshmallow stairs, all great. Yeah, I like the whole thing. I would give it honestly, like a 9.2.
Wow, that's really close to mine. I'm giving it a 9.1.
Yeah.
Because I think the whole idea of the dream within a dream I love that stuff. Like I do like the movie Inception. And it's such like a weird twist on these horror movies that everything's in the dreams, but is it a dream? And you don't know half the time if you're in the dream. And the whole end of the movie, you're like, was it all a dream? Where does the dream end?
Where did it begin?
What is the normal part? Like, who's the normal person here?
Yeah, like this could have been a dream from the first night. I don't know.
Are we all in Nancy's first dream?
Or was that dream when she fell asleep, at the end of the movie where she went to go grab Freddy out? Did she fall asleep and she's still stuck in that dream? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't know.
That's the confusing part. And that's what I like about it a lot. Like, I think it's such a unique way to write a movie.
Again, movies that make you think, I like.
Yeah. And I like Freddy. I think he's funny. He like toys with him. I like his banter a little bit.
I told you, that's why he's my favorite killer. Because he's just fun. I mean, he's got some issues, as they all do.
Hey guys, none of us are perfect.
No, but
I mean, I didn't murder 20 kids. I would say he's got a few issues.
But see, and I just like, again, the things he does are so weird. The extending of the arms, the cutting his fingers, and instead of blood, it's green. It's just weird.
Yeah, he's a gooman.
Well, he is whatever he wants to show you.
Yeah.
He could be a woman. He could be the top of a car, apparently.
Yeah. That kind of reminded me of like Beetlejuice-ish, you know? Yeah. So overall, it was really good. I loved it. I don't know. I like when we're done with it, where we can just think about it and you still don't really understand what happened.
No, and again, the rewatchability, dude. I watched it 3 times. I'd watch it again.
We gotta watch more of these.
I know. Well, yeah, we could do another one. I don't want to say what our next movie is going to be, by the way, at the end, because we always change.
I kind of feel like doing a Friday the 13th again.
We could do part 3.
We might.
Well, you're talking about Friday the 13th, not this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to make sure you weren't confused.
I know. I kind of want to. We'll see. All right. Let's get into some continuity, plot holes, and character errors. I used to call this what?
Yeah. What did you use to call
Scared Stupid?
What is it now?
Just this. I can't name it. I don't like Scared Stupid.
It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. So continuity, plot holes, and character errors. Here we are.
Dun-dun-dun.
So to wake herself up, Nancy smashes the outside of her arm against the boiler. So we all remember that.
Yeah.
It's not smashes. They said smash. She burns her arm. But when she wakes up, burn marks on the inside of her wrist. So they put her to the wrong side.
Oh, that's hilarious. I did as per usual. I don't even notice these things.
Okay. This next one, there's math involved or numbers. I know you don't like numbers.
I do not.
But I do like this. I find this funny because the whole plot, or this whole what do you call it? Their whole plan seemed a little convoluted. So anyways, let me just get into it. Nancy tells her father to break down the door in exactly 20 minutes. So this is at the end of the movie where she's going to finally grab Freddy and bring him out. She's on the phone telling her dad her plan.
Right.
20 minutes. That is at 12:30 a.m., making the current time 12:10 a.m.
Yeah, so in 20 minutes at 12:30, wake her up.
Yes. So in this time, she manages to set all the booby traps, bomb light bulb, gunpowder, sledgehammer, tripwire, screen bolt to the door, and then sits with her mother for some time before going to her own bedroom. All of this apparently was done in 10 minutes. She's shown in bed at 12:20, giving her 10 minutes to fall asleep and catch Freddy.
I mean, and not to mention, she also has been chugging coffee too. So there's no way. That's hilarious. There's no way. But again, here's the thing. This all might have been a dream. So
I know. It doesn't matter.
Time doesn't matter.
Nothing matters because it all could be like make no sense, and it makes sense.
Yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful movie.
Yeah. Okay. We got 2 more. At around 1 hour and 20 minutes, I think this is where she jumps out of the dream in front of her house where she's about to grab Freddy. Crash mat visible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought I saw that too. Like she lands on leaves or something, but it looked like it popped up.
It did look odd, but hey, it's the dream. So
crash pad dream.
Yeah.
Dream pad.
So you're not going to jump out of a window in a dream and not expect something to catch or fall.
I know. You can't even be like critical of that.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Here's another one. Nancy. Okay. This is where we're going to get into a little bit of, you brought this up earlier. So Nancy burns herself with a pipe to wake her up from the dream when she's in school. Make it seem like pain will cause the dreaming person to wake up. However, when Tina or any other victim is cut by the claws, pain does not wake them up.
See, great point. But again, if this is Nancy's dream, it worked for her because she's in a dream within a dream. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I
So
do.
like in her dream, of course, like whatever she does is gonna work. It's her dream. This whole thing was her dream.
What's your final take on this dream? What dream are we in?
Oh God.
Where did the dream start? What's the first dream?
I have no idea. I don't have a take. I have no idea when it would have started. I don't know. The whole thing could have been. I wonder if there's any. I don't want to go deep down. What's your thing?
I don't know either.
What's your think? I turned into a child.
I don't know. Like, because I would want to say the Tina thing happened, but then again, you have to believe in the dream. Is this, I mean, did it end with it's just all one bad dream that she's just going to wake up and be fine? I'd like to think that.
Or she got killed in the dream.
Which
and she could have been the first kill.
I almost want to think that Tina really did die in the dream, and this is Nancy's second dream, or the dream after Tina died.
I honestly want to think that. Yeah, actually,
I mean, stuff got weird, like the barring up the windows and stuff, and like the police station murders. And
so I guess the real question is, at what point did like reality not seem like it was reality anymore? Because it seemed like real when she was in school. Obviously, she had the dream in school, but that all seemed real.
Yeah, so maybe it was after that. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed our review of Nightmare on Elm Street. And special thanks to all our patrons. Without you guys, we couldn't be doing this. Hopefully, we'll add a couple more to that. If you guys want to leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, we'd appreciate it.
Yep. And thanks for listening.
See you later.
See ya.